Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the Politics Show. Today we're joined by Labour MP Faisal Rashid. Faisal was elected to the Warrington South seat just over 2 years ago. Faisal, surely been an eventful time in Parliament, and I'm sure Brexit's dominated much of your activity there as well. How have your first 2 years been?
Well, thank you very much, Aran, for having me, and such a great settings of Sikh temple here in Warrington, which I often visit. So it's great to be here. Yeah, of course, it's been very, I would say, a roller coaster. I mean, with regards to Brexit, it has been a massive issue, as we all know, national issue, and of course, dominant in local politics as well. But it has been very divisive, so it's quite sad that, because I came into politics to make a difference, and I'm doing a lot of work with my constituents at the moment, and trying to resolve their issues, and which is happening. And that's the thing, it's so important, in life, when you make a difference to somebody's life, and Brexit has taken over everything.
You spoke about the division there. Do you think we as a country can unite from this division once again, or do you think it's gone too much?
Well, of course we can unite, and we are a great nation, and we will come back together, absolutely. But at the moment, of course, Brexit is such an issue which is so much divisive, and also division is not just, divisions are in one house. I mean, husbands not agreeing to wife, and kind of thing within the communities, and then the whole nation is divided. Until we resolve this Brexit issue, it'll be very difficult to move forward. So that issue needs to be tackled very carefully. And Aran, I must say that it's been 2.5 years since the Conservative government, Prime Minister Theresa May, is dealing with it, and it's making a mess of it. I mean, I'm not saying that that the Labour, I mean, the thing is, people need to understand what Labour can do. We are in opposition. We weren't negotiating this with the European Union. It was the Prime Minister Theresa May and the Conservative government. It's created the whole mess by the Conservative government.
Do you regret, Labour's position on Brexit? Do you wish it had been a lot clearer earlier in the process?
I mean, Labour's position has always been to respect the referendum result, and we must do that because this is democracy, and I believe in that. We must deliver on Brexit, but at the same time, it's again saying last 2.5 years has been totally wasted. What Prime Minister should have done is, when she got elected, well, she's not even elected, but in 2017, of course, she should have created a Brexit task force, right, involving all the political parties and making them as part of the negotiation. So then you could have some kind of consensus within all the political parties. But she's gone totally out of way on her own, and after 2 years she brought in that kind of botched deal, which even Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson saying that it's better to stay in the European Union rather than accepting this deal. So the whole time has been wasted. So what Labour Party do? We can't bring any legislation legally into the Parliament because we are in opposition.
Has the issue of Brexit made it more difficult for yourself to raise issues which are focused on other matters such as homelessness, mental health, for example? People are calling for a lot more to be done on those matters. But has it made life more difficult as a politician to get your voice heard when you're speaking about something else?
Of course, we all know that the Brexit has taken over most of the time and attention. And when you talk about homelessness, there is massive issues about school funding, NHS funding, and you can see what's happening in Warrington and Halton Hospital Trust today and yesterday. So yeah, it doesn't take that much attention, and it becomes difficult as well because the Parliament is mostly talking about over the last year, 2 years is Brexit. And now there is nothing major legislation going through the Parliament as well until we resolve this Brexit issue.
And just back to the issue of division, we've seen a lot more hate crime taking place, although the police do say mechanisms to report hate crime have improved as well. Do you believe that religious sites such as Sikh temples, such as mosques, need to increase security in light of this division?
I think we should be extra careful, of course, because every life is very important. And in terms of being extra careful doesn't mean that we just go out of the and then start having security guards and police presence or because it is impossible as well at the same time. I mean, our country is quite acceptance is there, especially our town is quite nice and everything. We're more integrated as well. We have to be vigilant. That's what I would say, is rather than having improved security, we just have to be more vigilant. Cheshire Police has been very good. They have been coming to mosque and temple, regular visits as well, and that's all fine.
And you mentioned Boris Johnson before, many touting him to be the next Tory leader and also the Prime Minister.
God help us.
If you had to choose out of Jeremy Hunt or Boris Johnson, who do you believe holds the better credentials to be the next Prime Minister?
Well, I wouldn't actually choose out of two of them. I will choose leader of the Labour Party to be the Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm. And if
both are incompetent.
If there was to be a general election, do you truly believe that Labour could win that election? We've obviously seen Labour suffer heavily in the local elections and also in the European Parliament elections. How do you believe Labour can bounce back from this adversity they're currently in?
I think Labour can win, absolutely. And if you look at what happened in the local election and European election, it's the Conservative Party actually totally washed out. And Labour has lost lots of seats, of course, and we can't ignore that. But I'm 100% sure that we can come back and we can win more seats because of our manifesto and because of the Conservative Party's last 9 years austerity policy, which has made a huge mess to this country.
And I wanted to stick on the issue of Jeremy Corbyn. Obviously, you're a firm supporter of Jeremy Corbyn. He's got masses of support among the Labour membership, but when it comes to MPs, it's somewhat of a different story. Do you think he can continue being the Labour leader with that sort of division within his cause in the Labour Party?
Well, Aran, look, Jeremy Corbyn is a leader of the Labour Party. Yeah, he has been elected democratically twice, not once, twice. Yeah, and I believe in democracy, and same as the Brexit is also part of democracy. We must deliver, because people who are listening, they might be saying, okay, what about Brexit? But I've already answered that question before. But yeah, I believe in that, and he is the Labour Party leader, and I respect that and I support it. And if in the future any new leader comes in democratically, then I will support that leader. So that's how it should be. And in terms of parliamentary Labour Party you're talking about, it becomes difficult, of course, But I think there is more togetherness in the Parliament now, and there is more unity within the Labour Party. And in politics, as you know, there is always an issue which one side might have different view and one side might have a different view. But I always believe in that we must talk about it, yeah, and come around the table, talk about those issues, and deal with them.
The Lib Dems obviously gaining somewhat of a resurgence as well in quite recent times. Do you welcome that sort of extra challenge rather than being just Labour and the Conservatives simply dominating politics? We've seen sort of the Lib Dems go away from the main political scene, but do you sort of welcome, the Lib Dems being back there, giving voters another choice?
Yeah, I think it's always good to have a competition. It's always good to have different parties talking different politics. Then people have more choice, of course. But I think people must not forget what the Liberal Democrats did in 2010, and alongside with the Conservative Party, and 5 years of 2010 till 2015, the mess their policies has done. The people will never forget that. But the rise is all because of the Brexit stunts, if you look at. And it depends if that stays in the general election, because general election will be totally different and that will be also on a constituency based. So we just have to wait and see how it will pan out.
In terms of your political ambitions, where do you see yourself in 2 or 3 years, if you are still an MP, that is, if you are voted in, if there's an early election, but You must have some political ambitions of where you'd like to
Well, Aaron, I mean, I've never had political ambitions. You know, all I want to do is I want to be the best constituency MP. I want to work for my constituents, and I want to be as accessible as possible, which I'm trying. I'm doing my roving surgeries, you know, my Friday surgeries. I'm out and about in my constituencies all the time, and dealing with the real issues my constituents face. And that is the part of my job I do enjoy, and I want to continue that. And that's all about it, really.
And on the flip side, are there any particular things that you don't quite enjoy, or any particular things that stick out as being extremely difficult?
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing is that in the Parliament, when you put out a motion to change something, and then you don't have enough votes to win, and that is the worst part, because you really want to make that change, and if you can't make that change, or if I'm unable to actually help and resolve issue of my constituent, I don't like that, because that's something, you know, is the worst part of the job. But one has to keep going.
And how do you deal with trying to please every constituent? Because it's obviously an impossible task, but that must leave you with some very, very tough decisions.
Well, a very good question, actually. I used to get really upset when I become MP, and I saw, actually, when I was the mayor of Warrington, was totally different.
Yeah.
When I was the councillor, was also different. When I become MP, and then I totally saw people, comments totally changed, because it's like a national politics. And then I didn't realize until actually it hit me. And I thought, oh no, that's not good. You know, people are, you know, talking too much negativity and all that kind of stuff. And somebody said to me that, you know, look, you are now a mainstream politician, right? You have to be a thick skin. Otherwise, you know, you will get ill, you know. And I just got that in my mind.
Yeah.
And then most of the comments, you know, I read, and I just think, you know, I rather have conversation with those people. And I've offered a number of times to my constituents or anybody who's putting comments on, mainly it's all abuses on Brexit. So come and speak to me. I'm more than happy to have a conversation. And then what I hear, oh, that will be a waste of my time. Well, if you're not bothered to actually have a discussion with your MP, then why you're just putting all the negative comments then, you know? And I mean, next week I'm hoping to actually put out an open discussion forum in my office. Anybody wants to talk about Brexit, come and speak to me. You know, I can't be more accessible than that.
Yeah. And obviously social media has helped you massively in terms of that accessibility, but it also does open up MPs to some negative comments and some abuse as well. Have you experienced any abuse, particularly online abuse?
I think what I would say is that personally I've not much abuse, I must say. You know, I'm quite blessed with Warrington. I love Warrington, and the people of Warrington are so nice, and I've not had any personal abuse other than the abuse on Brexit. Yes, I have had. And to be honest, I don't read much of Warrington Guardian's comments anyway. So it's better not to, because, you know, if anybody wants to contact you or raise issue, they will contact to me, you know, the different channels they have available. And it's very difficult to get time to just read everything on social media as well. It becomes impossible.
And what are your top priorities over the next 12, 15 months as an MP?
Yeah, so my top priority is that we must deliver on Brexit and get, you know, out of this issue. Work with my colleagues, you know, within the party as well. And once that's happened, I mean, locally, I'm started campaigning on a new Warrington Hospital. That is absolutely key. Warrington Hospital, we need a new state-of-the-art hospital, more economically as well, because at the moment I think in millions of pounds they are actually wasting on the existing buildings to just maintain in a year, and we definitely need more in a central area where everybody, the whole of Warrington, can access. Then of course local plan is a big issue. We need more facilities in the south of the Ship Canal as well. We had a really great Sankey hub, absolutely brilliant. I visited that. Something like that I need here in south of Ship Canal as well. So, you know, homelessness is increasing, so we must have more funding from the central government, which I'm fighting for, to provide more for the social housing. A council can't build social housing, and we had a housing summit, and that was very clear in that whose responsibility is to build social housing. School education is the massive issue. Warrington is one of the lowest paid for funding for schools. That needs to improve. And of course, NHS, locally, so hospital, and we'll keep going.
How concerned are you about the NHS being privatised as well? I know it's an issue which you have spoken about and are very, very passionate about the NHS, but in terms of that issue alone, privatisation, how concerned are you?
It's a massive issue, Aran, because for every constituent or everybody living in this country deserve a free health service. Yeah, and that was the motto and objective of National Health Service. And if we are getting away from that, then it's not fit for purpose. Yeah, I'm quite concerned because even President Trump never ruled out NHS being, part of the trade deal. So it looks like, I was speaking to somebody, one of my neighbouring MP, and he was saying about some kind of services are actually being bought by the American company. So he's going to campaign against that as well. So this government is slowly, gradually, part of this NHS is being privatized without even we getting to know. For example, what happened yesterday, we didn't know. Suddenly Warrington and Halton Hospital is putting out the price list on the website. What? So it's a massive issue.
You mentioned Donald Trump there. We've obviously had Tommy Robinson here in Warrington, and Donald Trump recently visited the UK as well. Do you welcome Donald Trump? Do you think the UK should welcome Donald Trump on a visit such as that? Do you think, as US being such a key ally, do we need to open our doors and try and build that relationship, even if people don't necessarily agree with his views?
Yeah. Look, I have nothing wrong with America. America is a very close ally to the United Kingdom, and we must have a good relationship with the United States. Absolutely critical. The issue is Donald Trump, not his office, right? It's him personally. So the racial tweets and retweets and the information, and then Sadiq Khan and all these kind of things he's doing, and what he's doing with Mexico, So I think that's the issue most of the people got about Trump. But in terms of also relationship with America and trade relationship with America is very critical. But at the same time, that shouldn't be at the cost of trading with the rest of the world. We must be balanced and look at the opportunities. China is rising at the moment economically, and if we're not careful, then we can lose out massively. And I'm working with China quite a lot as a part of the member of the International Trade Committee, and also I'm chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Belt and Road Initiative. Now, Belt and Road Initiative is nearly $8 trillion initiative, and most of the businesses don't even know in UK. So it's a very big thing and going on. And what they're doing is that it's a Euro-Asia connectivity and investing in Central Asian states. That's where the business is, that's where the future is. So this is where our businesses needs to focus more as well. So there are lots of new markets. So we can't just rely on America, we must actually explore new markets.
And away from Donald Trump, away from the NHS, away from Brexit, what do you do in your free time to sort of relax and get away from politics?
Well, in my free time, I've got no free time, but I can show you that I've got this ambulatory monitor to record my heartbeats at the moment this morning. So I would say I've got like Brexititis. That's what it's been done like in 2 years' time. So no, to be honest, I don't get any time. It's just full on Aran all the time. And if you're not, you're free, then you're on social media. So it's like 24/7. I've got repetitive strain on this by using my phone. So but to be honest, I enjoy it because I do make a difference in individuals' life. I know, I have done so much for individuals in my constituency, and I've got so many thank you cards in my office. That makes a huge difference. I mean, all these social media negativity going on. I mean, same people commenting all the time negative. It's not good, is it? Because there are lots of good things happening as well at the same time. So we must be balanced.
Thanks for your time today, Faisal. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Aran, as always.
And thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to tune in next time for the Politics Show. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.